right, so let's get started with where we are in the zine process. So far, I have drawn big lines on my zine. I haven't decided which is the top or the bottom. I've also folded it and made the cut. And I've done the fold, so I know this will be the front and that'll be the back. I'm not too worried about that right now. So let's play a little bit. And I'm gonna get my little neutral water. And I've got like some sort of dirty water and my clean water, just so you can see what my process is with my waters. And for my paint, I will be using, let me get this scooted over a bit. Let's do our waters over here so you can really see what I'm doing. I'm going to use, this is the core palette from Golden. It's the Intensity set. Let me show you. These are the color swatches of the 6 colors that are in here. It is a well-loved palette, so I wanted to show you what the pure colors look like because I've used this one so much. They're all kind of polluted and mixed together a bit because I don't worry too much about cleaning out my brush. So this is what the colors look like originally, and this is what the palette looks like that I'm working with. So let's, at this point, what I want to do is I'm just going to be playing with color. I'm not going to fill in each one of these like it's a coloring book page. I am going to explore all over the page. So I'm going to grab my little water dropper and I like to activate my paints. The other thing, I've got these extra little pans over here. And I'll drop a little bit of water in those because sometimes I like to just pick up a little tiny bit of color, and then my little main mixing pans, those kind of turn different colors as well. So I've got a lot of water in here. So now let's get ready to play. I'm going to start with a flat brush. This one is a Winsor Cotman. I really like this one. It says it's a 13 millimeter half-inch flat brush. And for this, I know all of these colors work really well together. And so I'll just start with what I'm drawn to today. And I'm drawn to this, this is I think it's a Quin Magenta. I don't know, I like it. It's kind of a hot pink color. So I'm just get a little bit, kind of medium amount of water on it. And for this one, and this is, normally I would not have cut this. I was doing this in a class, so I wanted to show them how to fold it. So it was a little bit out of sequence. So when I put the color on my zines, generally it's not cut. And you can see why. It's kind of hard to keep the color smooth. And as I said, it's not like a coloring book. It's more of a playing about. So as I play with my colors, I put one on and then I'm going to just look around and kind of balance it and to see where else some of that color might be interesting, and I'll add that on the page. And so you see, as I said, wherever it would be interesting. So I'm like making these little marks. So there's another little spot. That looks pretty good. I like to flip it around as I'm working on my backgrounds. I picked up some of my dirty water and I like this orange. I already have some on my palette. This has a little, this one looks a little more red. I haven't added any other colors than what's on the core intensity. So I don't know how I got this one. I just kind of mix them up and see what happens. So let's see, I want to add, oh, and see that one is way too red for me. So I'm going to bring in, it's going to be a little more intense orange. I did not want the red. And so I'll just kind of squish that down a little bit. Let's see what happens with it. I do like that orange a little better. I'm going to bring some over here. And also, let's see, maybe some here. And let's do a little bit here. That seems fine. And this, we've got so much orange. I'm gonna try to squish that down a little bit. And then I've got some over here, so that'll be fine. All right, so we have the magenta, we've got that bright pop of orange. I'm gonna keep this to 3 colors. And so the other color I want is something that's like orange and blue or a nice contrast. And then if it's kind of bluish purple, it would look good with the pink. So let's get something that looks like that. Notice I didn't wash out my brush. Had a little bit of orange in it as I come to this part of my palette. And I mixed it in with some blue, so it has a little green tint to it. So let's bring a little blue into it and ooh, a little bit of the turquoise. Oh, I like that. And let's get just a little tip of the magenta. Let's see. Oh, too much magenta. See how it turned too much purple? Okay, that's too much. Let's bring a little blue into it and a little more of the turquoise. Okay, so it's this blue purple color. I might have wanted it to be more turquoise. Let's see what happens here. And actually, ooh, okay, I like this one better. All right, so now we've got our color. And oh, look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? All right, so let's plop this on. And I didn't mix up my color very well, so it's kind of cool. You can see some of the different colors there. Grabbing a little bit of the pink and maybe the blue looks okay here. All right, let's take, I'm gonna paint over that, so we're gonna get another layer over the orange. Bring a little bit here. Oh, here's a little spot down here. Let's rotate again, and I'm going to bring this inside. I'm going to leave a little white there. And let's see. I'm going to bring this as another line. I tore this out of a journal, so I kept this little, these are the broken parts. So I want to see what that turns into. And now I want a little more of the turquoise. So I tried to keep it basically 2 colors, but then for some reason I really wanted more of the turquoise on there. All right, lovely. Now let's bring this in here. Kind of like that. And maybe just a little bit more. And a little lighter brush strokes, perhaps. Oh, that's kind of cool. And since we're working on line in our elements of design, I'm gonna see where I could bring some more line in with the paint. So I'm gonna switch brushes. And this is I don't know, it looks like something that came out of a set, so it's not precious by any means. And what I'm gonna do now, this next bit, we'll be adding little lines. So I'm working toward finishing this first layer. Whoops. And so in the first layer, these are like some little wet on wet details. Let's do that. So any other things? Yeah. I feel like this is a pretty good first layer. See this? And I'm looking for little panels because I've already folded it. So I've got a little pink in it. This one doesn't have any pink in it. So for this one, I'm gonna just come with this little brush, give it a little pink on the edge. Good. This one's got orange, it's got all the colors. That one has all the colors. This one doesn't have much pink, so we're just gonna brush that across. That looks pretty good. And we have all the colors on that. All right, so next up, I'm gonna dry this layer and then we'll come back and we'll do another layer of paint. One of the things I like to do is to take a picture of my artwork after each layer. So the first layer were the lines. The second layer are these just big blocks of color on the page. And now we're moving into what I like to think of like my third layer. I'm gonna add some more details, but I'm gonna stay with my brushes. So I'm bringing in, this one is a 6. It's a Simply Simmons. I've used it a lot, so it doesn't come to a really super fine point, but it holds a lot of water and I can get a lot of coverage with it. So with this one's a lot of orange, even though I've been loving on orange lately. I don't know that I want that much orange on the page, so that's a consideration, but I'm going to kind of ignore that and then just add, I'm practicing my lines because that's the element of style that we are using. Bring more of that into the work. So some of you might like to clean up the edges a bit. Perfectly fine. If that's something that you want to do, you can. If you put another layer on top, you can change the coloring just a bit. If you want to add different types of lines, you can definitely do that. Now when you layer your watercolors over each other, they're transparent, so you're going to see a little bit beneath it. Sometimes the colors will reactivate a little bit, so you'll get a little bit of mixing of the colors. Don't worry about it too much when we're playing. So what I'm doing is just repeating different types of lines that we practiced with. I'm not getting too fancy, I'm not worrying about it too much, just playing. I don't worry about if I need what should it look like or what should I be doing. I'm simply following my brush on the page. If I see there's a place to make a little line, I'm gonna do that. The one rule that I kind of have in the back of my mind is to leave a little bit of white space on each of the panels. So we'll see how that turns out. Oh, nice little, that's kind of cute. See how it's like a little, almost like a little plaid. Oh, I didn't see that. That's kind of cute. And I'm going to, I said that orange was like a little bit much for me. So I'm gonna give it a little coverage Now when I put the magenta over it, notice we're getting, it's more of a red color than the magenta. So maybe I mix it into the orange and see what we have there. And again, at this stage of the painting the zine or the little book, I'm not really worried about it. Like, what is it gonna look like? What's it gonna be like? Because I know there's so much more to come. So try not to turn it into a thing before it's ready to be the thing. Now, I don't know what to do with this area. I'm not loving it. So I'm going to take my advice and don't worry about it. Good. Oh, and I found another panel here that has no orange. So even though I'm gonna let go of that, thinking there's too much orange. Let's just see what happens. Maybe it will all turn out okay. So with this, there's this little line. I'm gonna make it a little darker. All right, let's see what comes here. Go. Okay, so that seems to be pretty good. This one doesn't have as strong an orange to it, so let's put a little more here. And then I'm going to call this one done. Let's do a little piece there. Okay, that looks fine. So I'm going to try this, scan it in, and then we'll come back and we'll start adding details to it.